Welcome back, curling fans. It's been another great week of curling out on tour. The big event this past weekend was the Shorty Jenkins Classic up in Cornwall, Ontario. Many of the best teams in the world on both sides were taking part, and that gave us two massive finals that both will definitely have an impact on my power rankings that'll come out later in the week. So on the women's side, we saw both the Homan and Tirinzoni rinks get their first action of the season, and wouldn't you know it, they met up in the finals, with the battle coming down to the final end and the final shot. So Tirinzoni came into the eighth end up 5-4, so up a point with hammer, a pretty dominant position at the elite level. Yet it was Homan who was able to set up a situation where Tirinzoni fourth, Elena Pates had to draw against two. Final shot came up short, gave Homan a steal of two and a win in their first event of the year. Team Homan went a perfect 8-0 on the weekend, so off to an amazing start off their historically great season last winter. Now, on the men's side of the Shorty Jenkins Classic, we saw two of the top teams in the world, two of the powerhouses of European curling, face off for the title. Bruce Mowat and Yannick Schwaller, both off to great starts this year, both teams playing excellently and making the final. They were tied up at 3-all after 6 ends, after which Schwaller scored a single in 7 and then stole an 8 to take a 5-3 win, capturing their second straight title 2 weekends in a row. Also worth noting this weekend, Sixten Tot 6 rink out of Germany took down Dustin Kaltoff 5-3 in the final of the Hack to House Alberta Curling Series Major. That's a great result for a very strong Toxic team that hadn't gotten off to a great start in their first couple events this season. And the event in Alberta may not have gotten as much attention as the Shorty Jenkins Classic. The field wasn't quite as deep, but you had names like Carruthers, Bonneau, Morozumi all making the playoffs. So a quality field and definitely a quality win for the Toxic rink. As for what's coming up in the curling world this coming week, I want to start with an event that actually takes place tonight and tomorrow night, Tuesday and Wednesday. The Everest North American Curling Club Championships, which will be hosted out at the Rock Creek Curling Club out in Lafayette, Colorado. It's a beautiful facility. I got to play there in a mixed doubles event last year, had a wonderful time. Just gorgeous. It'll make a great venue for a televised event like this. And yes, even though this is a club event, this is going to be televised. It features the club national winners from both the United States and Canada facing off against each other. See the games at 8 p.m. Eastern, both in the US and Canada on CBS Sports Network or TSN, respectively. The women's game will be on Tuesday night. Sydney Schroeder's team out of Madison, Wisconsin, representing the USA, taking on Abby Burgess's rink out of Oromocto, New Brunswick for Canada. Then on Wednesday night, we get the men's showdown. It'll be the United States represented by Ryan Berg and his team out of Fargo, North Dakota, taking on the Dan Sherrard rink from Beaumont, Alberta. Now, I've seen this promoted as a way to see, so-called amateur curlers duking it out on television, which we don't normally get to see. And that's partially true, but I think many people will be surprised by the level of play in an event like this. There's going to be more misses than you'd see at the truly elite level if you were seeing two top 10 teams go at it, of course. This isn't Worlds, it's not a Grand Slam, it's not going to be the same as that. But these are both really difficult national championships to win. Even qualifying for nationals at the club level, both in the US and Canada, whether it's out of your regions in the US or provincials in Canada, is often a huge accomplishment. And you see very strong curlers, some of whom play at like the low end tour level from time to time, also jumping in, or players who were previously very high level competitive players jumping in. So yeah, these are not your typical league curlers, but they're just not super elite curlers either. You'll see plenty of talent on the ice. One thing that could be a factor could be nerves. For most, if not all, these players, it'll probably be their first time playing in a televised event. I mean, how many of those are there outside of the Olympics, the Grand Slams, and a few national championships? But once everyone settles in, I think you're going to see really good curling for 2 nights across the board at a great facility. Should be an awesome event. As for next weekend's events, there's a fair number of things going on in the curling world. On the men's side, the biggest thing is the Okatoks Classic in Alberta. On the women's tour calendar, there's a lot going on. The Hack to House Alberta Curling Series Major, which you saw for the men last weekend, will be a women's event this weekend. So you'll see a lot of good teams out there. You're going to have solid fields as well in the Women's Masters in Basel and the Mother Club Fall Curling Classic, among a few other events that are also going on. I'll have a recap of all that action next week. You'll also see the next strategy video on my channel coming in a few days. Probably be up by the weekend for general audiences. But of course, if you want to see it early, best way to do that, join the Patreon. There's going to be a link below in the description. Get to see all those sorts of videos 3 days early. Get your name in the credits of all my sort of evergreen non-newsy videos. Yeah, Chess on Ice Patreon. A lot of benefits. Really hope you'll consider joining if you love the channel. Thanks as always for watching, and good curling, everyone.